Greetings, YouTube, and happy Monday. I am stunned right now that in the banner we have ourselves a 5-star Awakening Gym opportunity because normally this is, given the timing of the month, saved for July 4th. But also, does this mean, and I don't expect this to be a generic, even though I've seen people calling for it, maybe as a joke, maybe as somewhat truth, hopeful truth, that a 6-star generic Awakening Gym would be available on July 4th. I don't think we're ready for that. I think we're ready for a class-based one, especially for 15,000 units, which is generally the top cutoff for offers. But at the same time, we have ourselves Awakening Gym bundles, which a class-based 5-star Awakening Gym has usually cost either $50 or $60. Again, as a 5-star. Now, Kabam has had a history this year of giving us inflated quote-unquote deals that are so inflated that they make 2017 look like it is coming back into your life. Which, given the year we've had, maybe you want 2017 to come back into your life, just not in this way. All right, let's start with this 4-star Awakening Gym bundle. Okay, it's a 4-star. Oh my gosh. I always say on my channel, more choice, less chance. I love selectors. And now that we have a 4-star Awakening Gym selector, you might as well just consider this to be a generic Awakening Gym, because by choosing your class, you're essentially choosing a generic. Now, we have seen this price for this item. So even though a 4-star crystal is included and the gold is a little cheap, it should be 300,000 or more, this is a fair offer. And for those of you who need to awaken a 4-star and you need to target it, this is probably going to be the best offer you see until July 4th, but then again, we're less than a month away from that. So, I think this is like a C to C plus 4-star Awakening Gym bundle. It is what we have seen, but for units. We've seen a 4-star generic Awakening Gym offered before for like 800 to 900 units. And keep in mind, 800 to 900 units is about $30. So we've seen this in the unit equivalent, and of course this is not for units, this is for cash. But we're not here to talk about the 4-star Awakening Gym bundle. Is this the day that you actually carry over the 4-star Awakening Gym selector by giving us a 5-star Awakening Gym selector? And if so, are they charging a full Odin for it? Okay, we can see it. 750,000 gold. Okay, does that mean it's the Odin? What's the price going to be? Oh, thank God. Now, let me go ahead and preface this by saying, even though I'm about to praise this offer, $70 is still a lot of money to a lot of people. But when I talk about choice, not chance, I'm talking about guaranteed value. And I got sent, even though I pleaded with you, the community, yesterday, don't buy this trash offer. It hasn't changed prices in a year. It's a terrible offer. Don't spend $50 on a bunch of 3 and 4 stars and maybe a trash 5-star. And yet, you reached out to me. You said, Prof, I feel like I have to tell you, I am so regretting the purchase because you were right. I got nothing but 3 and 4 stars for $50 yesterday, other than the 3 single revives, and of course also the small amount 756-star shards that were in that Cavalier Champion bundle. This is $20 more than that, but you get to target the champion. This is essentially $70 for what you got for free, right? Other than when I say free, it costs your time and your talents and maybe some units if you didn't do well. But when we talked about the chronometer in May, we talked about targeting a specific class. Now, some of you, unfortunately, went the entire month without ever landing on or seeing the class that you were targeting. So this is for you, right? If you were targeting skill and you didn't see skill for 18 epic rifts, well, now you're guaranteed to see it. Should this be $70 in 2020? If this came out in 2019, especially if it wasn't right after one of the greatest side quests we've ever seen, especially for free-to-play players that could take advantage of these 5-star Awakening Gems, this would be an A offer. I don't think it's quite an A now because, again, we saw this same essential concept, not for cash, last month, and so many of you got the 5-star Awakening Gem that you're targeting, but guess what you don't have? You don't have signature stones to put into those champions, and we know that they're being super cheap with those because they're trying to up the demand, decrease the supply, and then roll out that supply in multiple forms on July 4th. So, this was an A last year. This year, I'm going to give it a solid B grade. If there is a 5-star champion that you maybe got in the last week or two after the event was over and you didn't have a chance to do an Epic Rift again and you need to awaken them, then this is for you. But if there isn't a 5-star champion you need to target and you don't know if you can afford the $70, or maybe you think that the $70 might be better spent on July 4th, the answer is still yes, it is. If this was a January or February deal, it would get a higher grade. But we're so close to July 4th that considering you don't get any units with this, I've got to be more critical of offers than I normally am during this time. And that's why some people might be shocked that I'm only giving it a B. There are going to be people always who say the grade's too high or too low. But I think it's a fair analysis when you consider that even though we haven't seen this before, we just saw it in a free-to-play equivalent of that great side quest event of May. If that side quest event hadn't happened, I'd probably give this at least an A-, but because it did, I'm going to give it a B. I'm glad that it's not $100. I'm glad that the gold ratio is slightly higher than average because it would be 700,000 gold. I would give it an A if it included at least 20 generic 6 stones, because what Kabam's also got to realize is that you can use this thing and you can awaken that champion, and they're stuck for so many people, because I've heard from you in the past month, at SIG 1. And so, yay, you awakened him. But if you need him to be at a high SIG, like Omega Red or like Captain America Infinity War, you're still underwhelmed. And because 6 stones aren't attached to this, I can't give it anything higher than a B. Maybe I'm being too critical, but I'd like to think I'm being pretty objective. A B grade is still a very tough grade to achieve from me because of the way my scoring system works. So it's not like it's a bad deal. It's just not as good as it would have been in January or February, or without the 6 stones included. That's why, Kabam, you're still being cheap on the 6 stones. You're still waiting to put those in a separate day offer. I get it. But because of that, the grade has to be hurt a little bit.